The talk of Sioux Falls, 1140 KSOO.
Welcome back to the Patrick Lalley Show here on 1140 KSOO. I had the very good fortune to meet a kind of an amazing young lady recently, and her name is Trista Snapper, and she's with us today. Hey, Trista, how's it going?
Good.
So the reason I wanted to talk to Trista, and the reason I think people are going to be amazed, is Trista is 12. She's a student at George McGovern Middle School, and she has had quite a summer on her bike. Now, a lot of people ride bikes, but Trista, tell us a little bit about what you did this summer.
First, I rode RASDAK, and then after RASDAK, I did a Century, which is 100 miles on a bike.
Yeah, and that had to be pretty fun. Now, RASDAK is the ride across South Dakota, and where'd you start?
I started in Rapid City.
Yep, and ended?
In Sioux Falls.
Yeah, and it took 7 days.
Yep.
How many miles was it?
517.
517 miles in 7 days?
Yeah.
And you're 12?
Yeah.
How did you feel after that?
I felt good, but I didn't do the whole 517.
Oh, did you have to take a few breaks?
Yeah. I did ride some of every day.
Mm-hmm.
One of the days was a really tough day.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up going 10 miles out, and it was like, okay, this is too hard. So we went the 10 miles back to Wall,
mm-hmm.
which was one of the places that we went.
Mm-hmm.
And we got with my dad's mom and dad, and we rode all the way to the next town.
Wow. So this do you know how many miles of it all that you actually did?
No.
Then why did you decide to ride a Century, which is 100 miles? You did that when you got back, right?
Right. Well, I wanted to do a Century because they had a Century option on RASDAK, but
mm-hmm.
my dad didn't. We didn't do the Century option.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad said that we would do.
And what's your dad's name, by the way?
My dad's name is Greg.
And what's your mom's name?
Nicole.
Nicole. So Greg and Nicole Snapper. Yep.
And
my
mom's name.
Okay.
My mom's last name is Aldrich.
Okay. Greg Snapper and Nicole Aldrich. Those are your parents. And then, so your dad said when you got back, or you were going to do 100 miles on RASDAK, and he said what?
He said no. We would do an easy Century around the bike paths.
Yeah. So that's an easy Century, right?
Right.
So when did you do that?
We did it the weekend after RASDAK.
Wow. So you just took a few days off and then headed out?
Yeah.
We're here visiting with Trista Snapper, and we actually are on location right now at Spoken Sport Bikes. And Trista and I just finished Tour de Fast, which was a kind of a day of mountain biking. And how do you like mountain biking?
It's fun. It gives me a new experience to road ride.
Yeah.
From road riding. Because with road riding, you pay attention through the monkey mirror that you have.
The monkey mirror being what?
Being a mirror that sits on your helmet or your glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually sitting on the left side of your helmet or glasses.
Mm-hmm.
But since my dad is kind of blind in his left eye, he
mm-hmm.
has to have it on his right. So he says there's a trick to it.
Mm-hmm.
So usually when you do turns and stuff on the road too,
mm-hmm.
you have to have hand signals.
Yep, and you don't do that on a mountain bike.
No.
You never let go of the bars, do you?
Right.
Now, you and I were over at Yankton Trail Park, which is one of the places we went, and we also went to Leaders, and I was actually following you at Yankton Trail, and things took a little turn there. What happened?
My bike ended up going over this branch,
mm-hmm.
and then it was like it went out of control, and then I ended up crashing into a tree.
But you're okay though, right?
Right.
You kind of tipped over, but you popped right back up and started riding again.
Yeah, just a few scrapes.
Yeah. So I want to go back to this is Trista Snapper. We're talking about her biking experiences this summer, and she's 12 and she's a student at McGovern Middle School. Let's go back to your Century. So You did 100 miles in one day. Was it
Right.
all on the bike trail?
We went over the pedestrian bridge for some of it.
Okay.
Because I kind of wanted a change of scenery because going around the trails got kind of boring.
Yep.
But we went to this downhill part before we went over the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of did change scenery for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But that trail ended up stopping, and then we had to turn around and go back.
So that was the spur of the trail that goes like out to Dunham Park and that sort of place. Like you crossed at 41st Street or no, the pedestrian bridge by Sertoma Park. That one?
It was the one that goes over the interstate.
Oh, okay. Over by by not so far from McGovern Middle School.
Yeah.
So you went over on the other side of there and just kind of rode around in that area?
Yeah, and then we went over by George McGovern,
Mm-hmm.
and we did some of the trails over there, and we actually went through the tunnel,
Oh, yeah.
and we ended up coming out on the other side.
Yeah, that's the tunnel under, I think it's Maple Street out there that McGovern's on. A lot
Yeah.
of people haven't been way out there because George McGovern Middle School is it's in the northwest part of town. There's not a lot around it.
Yeah.
There's a fire station.
Yeah.
So why did you ever start riding bike a long ways? How did you ever decide to do RASDAK and these 100-milers?
Well, my dad, he influenced me to do RASDAK because the first year that we did it, I thought, this is kind of cool. Because I started out with helping with water stops in SAG.
Oh, okay.
And so it was like, this is kind of cool. So I think I'm going to try it next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked Dad, and so then before RASDAK, I ended up going to cycling class at Sanford Family Wellness.
Oh, cool.
And
Those are hard.
Yeah. They've got Tuesday and Thursday classes.
Yep.
And they start at 5:30, and then somewhere around 6:15.
Mm-hmm. So you went to those first to try and build up your strength and stamina,
Right.
and then you just went and did RASDAK, right?
Right.
No big deal. Why do you like riding bikes?
Because it changes the way you can do stuff, and it clears your mind kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're riding your bike, it's like you got to pay attention to the road or the trails that you're on,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a different view from when you're looking through a car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very different experience.
Yeah.
Did you have fun today?
Yeah.
How did you feel then? You rode 100 miles, mostly on the bike trail. How did you feel when you got done?
I felt really tired, but before we finished, me and my dad got ice cream.
So that helped.
Yeah.
What did you get?
I got chocolate ice cream with a chocolate waffle cone.
Well, that's just good fuel, isn't it?
Yeah.
How'd you feel the next day?
Sore.
I bet. We were on Tour de Fast, which is a event by Falls Area Falls Area Single Track. Falls Area Bicyclist is the other club. So we had a lot of fun today. Trista, thanks for talking to me.
Yeah.
And you have a good rest of the summer, okay?
Yep, you too.
This is the Patrick Lalley Show on 1140 KSOO.